What's up, guys? Welcome back to Storytime with Uncle Jon, where we pluck stories from Reddit and around the web. Most of the time we're doing Tales from Tech Support or Malicious Compliance, but this past week we've been mixing it up a little. Wow. But this week we've been mixing it up a little bit because Tales from Tech Support's a little slow this week. And, you know, don't want to always do just Malicious Compliance, so we'd like to mix it up around here. Anyway, today's stories are from Tales from the Front Desk. I can't even imagine. I work retail. I've owned retail establishments, and I know the frustration of dealing with the general public at times. I can't even imagine being in the hospitality business and dealing with the general public sometimes. But, and not everybody's this way, but there's more than you think. Nah, that can't happen. This happened over a decade ago, but it's one of the stories that sticks out to me. Given how and where I grew up, fast talkers automatically get my bullshit antenna up. Now, I don't mean fast as in speed, but fast as in attempting to talk in circles in order to flatter or confuse. So about 2:30 Sunday morning, this guy comes in and immediately says, "Because of the time, I know you can get me an X type of room at Y rate with a 2 p.m. checkout. I know you can do that for me with no problem. I know you're going to look out for me, right, brother? Brother?" Because I'm in no mood for this bullshit and the rate he was trying to get was $40 cheaper than the actual rate, my immediate response was, "Yeah, I can do X room type, but the going rate is Z and checkout is 12 p.m. Unshaken, this guy says, "So you're going to charge me Z even though you're going to rent the room out after I check out? And you can't even give me a late checkout? It's not like the money's going in your pocket." Now I'm over it and want to end this, so I simply said, "That's exactly how this works. After you check out, housekeeping is going to go through and clean the room so it can be ready for whoever decides to come in later on today. So what you're asking for, nah, that can't happen. As far as the money thing, it's not going in my pocket, but wives don't like it when husbands don't work. Anything else I can do for you?" Seeing that he wasn't going to get anywhere, he's grumbling as he's walking out. He wasn't the first one, but that one I won't forget. Like I said before, I'm kind of a cheap bugger, so I don't think there's anything wrong necessarily with trying to ask for a deal, a discount, you know, try to work something out. But being pushy about it's definitely low class and just kind of icky. There are times when I'll say, "Okay, do you do a AAA discount? Do you do a this discount? Is there any way I can get it a little bit cheaper?" You know, if not, the answer is no, that's cool. I'm not going to push, you know. Hey, the rate is the rate. Most of the time, I don't even ask. But sometimes, it's worth a shot once in a while. And every so often, you get lucky. And, you know, if you're pleasant and they're in a good mood, then you might get something. But otherwise, you either rent the room or you don't. A surprising interaction today. I had to join the massive queue today at our regional motor vehicle registration office, but was there to see the nicest interaction. A bloke comes in, gets his ticket, sits down beside me, got a phone call and talks for a bit, then stands up and loudly asks the staff if there's a Jenny here who copped a Karen yesterday afternoon. What? Two of the girls point at a third. The bloke goes and hands her his phone saying, "Please, she needs to speak to you." Jenny reluctantly gets the phone, listens for a bit, then starts crying. Of course, the whole place is dead silent. She then says thank you and that nobody's apologized before, hands the phone back and goes back to handling the person she had in front of her. The bloke comes and sits down again with everyone looking at him. He just shrugged and said it was his missus. She had had a terrible day at work, was running late, and ran into a problem with her car registration. As he put it, she had cracked it and started having a go at Jenny, then suddenly realized she was being a bitch, lost it, and did a runner. Apparently his wife is regularly on the receiving end of Karen, so was ashamed of her behavior. She needed to apologize to Jenny, but couldn't get away. The bloke had time to come in to get the registration sorted, so when he told his wife he was there, she had insisted he try to find Jenny so she could apologize. He got the best service when his ticket was called, and the woman behind the counter said loudly to him to tell his wife she barely registered a Karen level 1 rating, with others much worse nearly every day. Sucks that they have a rating scale for arseholes. Well, that's absolutely amazing. I don't know. I almost want to call BS on this story, quite honestly, but it's just, you want to believe in humanity that, you know, when somebody screws up and acts like a total a-hole or is just, you know, generally rude or curt or whatever, you want to think the best in people, that they're going to apologize or, you know, try to ease up. I tend to try to not make confrontations out in public, you know. Have there ever been times when I've yelled at customer service people? Sure, it depends. If they're giving me the runaround, excuse me, I might actually get a little bit louder or a little more abrasive, but generally speaking, I still try to keep it professional, and I only escalate my attitude as I go up the ladder to higher ups, middle management, if you will, and they start giving me the runaround. Then I start getting a little more annoyed as I go higher up the ladder. But generally speaking, nobody ever seeks out the person that they've wronged to apologize. That's just amazing. Like I said, almost unbelievable. This job made me hate my school. I work at a hotel for my college town. My school is known for daddy's money, so you can imagine we often get the reputation of being a bunch of entitled brats. Honestly, for the past 3 years of going here, I always took it as a joke. Until I started working my current front desk job and started to have to deal with my classmates' parents. These people are some of the most entitled people I've ever met. I'll tell parents that are planning on visiting their kids for a parents' weekend that we're sold out of rooms, and they'll start screaming at me that they already bought their plane ticket and their kids already have their hopes up of having them visit. About half of those times they offer to pay double the rate if we give them someone else's room, as if we're going to kick someone out of the room that they reserved a year in advance. You need your hotel keys to access the parking at our hotel, but a lot of these parents will call us and complain that the front desk should come out and manually unlock the gate for them, or they'll leave a bad review. Oh dear. The amount of times I've seen these parents being carried in by their 18-year-old kids because they got so drunk at the college bars they can't even walk straight is ridiculous. And don't even get me started on the amount of moms I've seen take college-aged boys back to their rooms for the night and then check in with their husbands several weeks later. Oh, God. We've got everything in this story. We've got entitled kids, entitled parents, cougars, and bad alcoholism. So, anyway, what can you say about it, you know? There's a reason some of these kids act the way they do. It's because that's the way their parents acted when they were growing up and when they became adults. And it's a self-perpetuating thing. There's a lot of different cultures on this earth. And most of the time within those cultures, things become generational. Attitudes, mindsets, same thing, you know, actions, whatever. And yeah, somebody's got to break the chain at some point, but I guess it's not going to be during my lifetime. I was given an edible arrangement. I have a good tale to tell today. Many years ago at a huge resort, which was in the top 10 locations for that company, I was a front desk supervisor. A woman came to check in with her family, but she had booked through an Airbnb scammer and had no real reservation. Ouch. Basically, the Airbnb scammer lists the unit, collects money from a renter, and never calls the resort to actually book the reservation and give us the money. The corporate reservations team basically said if we can get proof of payment, we could just bill the reservation and call it a day. I saw we had some open availability, so I had her forward the Airbnb email to me as her proof of payment, billed a reservation, and checked her in for a week. Normally I wouldn't do that because A, I know the company didn't get paid, B, guests are not usually nice enough for me to bend the rules. But this woman said it was her first vacation in a really long time with her family, and she was the sweetest guest I'd met to date. She wasn't angry at me for the issue when I told her her reservations didn't exist, and she might have been scammed, so I didn't mind giving her a room for free, especially because I was overworked and underpaid, so I didn't care about the company. The next afternoon I came in for my shift around 2 p.m. and there was an edible arrangement in the fridge for me with a note card thanking me and saying I made her vacation. She came down later to personally thank me again for sorting it all out for her and her family. And the edible arrangement was delicious. I understand being fed up with the company you work for and things like that, but you know, just like a customer having a bad day shouldn't take out their frustrations on you, whether you're a front desk clerk, a motor vehicle attendant, I don't know, or whatever. The same thing goes for us. When we're tired of our place of employment and we've kind of had it up to here with our middle manglement bosses, we really shouldn't take it out on the customers then either. And it worked out really well for you guys. You know, this person was understanding. She didn't bite your head off when you know, sprung it on her that, hey, you got scammed. So, you know, it worked out really well. And I feel like from the way you wrote this story that you were able to read her, she was able to read you, and everybody was good. You know, there was no underlying tensions. I'm the type of person that I can feel the tension before it's ever noticed outwardly. And before I even look at somebody's face, I can almost tell if it's going to be a good interaction or a bad interaction. So yeah, good for you. I don't really like fruit that much, but I would have given it to somebody. How to speak up to managers? It's small things that are irritating me. The other day I was scheduled to leave at 3 p.m. and my manager came in at 12 p.m. She wants to test all the keys to make sure they work before guests arrive. That's fine, but she's running behind. She has a lot more keys to test and it's 2:40 p.m. She tells me, I'm going to have you stay until 4 because this is a lot of keys. Ma'am, you're telling me? Not asking if I'm able to stay till 4? Telling me I'm staying? Thankfully, my other manager came in for her shift at 3, so I was able to leave. The first manager told me to file away the keys she just tested before I leave. Second manager tells me she'll do it as it's a very simple task and can be done by anyone. She also told me not to do any more work unless I'm on the clock and getting paid because that's illegal. I agreed and went to sit down and wait for my ride. A few minutes later, the first manager calls me and says, "Come here for a second." So I go into her office. She starts debriefing me on all the fire safety training we should know as front desk attendants and tells me there will be some computer training. Maybe 10 minutes later she's done and I'm able to leave and meet my ride. I fear I've buried the headline, lol. My issue is with her telling me what I'm going to do and delegating her tasks onto me. She'll take the newly made keys, which are filed in numerical order, test them, then set them on the counter all jumbled up and say, "If you don't mind filing these for me while I test the rest," or "I'm going to have you file these while I go to the 3rd floor." It's irritating because I have tasks that I get penalized for not completing. A checklist every day. If it's not checked off, you get a write-up. If it's checked off and you didn't do it, you get a write-up. So to have to stop doing my job to be her secretary is frustrating. I could be at the other side of the room cleaning while she's in front of a computer and still ask me to confirm a guest departure date for her. I want to tell her that, yes, I do mind because I'm busy, but I don't think my busy and manager busy can be compared. I don't know. I'm frustrated and needed to vent. I don't know. I don't think she's doing it intentionally. I get what you're saying. It's annoying. And I've done it. I've done it to other people. I've had it done to me. At the same time, I think there's probably a way that you can address it without being insubordinate. A, you could have number 2 manager maybe go to the bat for you and explain the situation. B, you could say, "Listen, if it's not planned ahead, I cannot stay late. If my checkout time, clock out time is 3 o'clock, I have to clock out at 3 for a reason. Whatever that reason is none of their business. If my schedule says 3 p.m., then it's 3 p.m. 2-3 minutes, 5 minutes here and there. I'm not going to quibble over a few minutes either way, especially if I have other tasks that need to be done before the end of my shift and I know I'm going to get penalized for not having them done or done correctly or whatever, then yeah, there's going to be a problem and we need to sit down and have a discussion about this. Maybe we're a little short-handed. Maybe if, there's that much stuff to do that can't be done in a normal shift, maybe you need to hire somebody else to help come in and, fill in the gaps. And there's always people looking for part-time work, so, Or maybe the manager will take it like crap and she'll just flip out and drive you nuts until you're fired or quit. There's that. I just love repeating myself over and over. A guy comes in, asks what the price of a single for tonight is. Bran, a single tonight is going to be XXX after tax, and there's a $100 refundable security deposit we charge on your credit card for incidentals. Guy says, "Oh, okay, so how much is a single tonight?" Me being taken aback slightly because that's the same as the question I just answered, I say, "It's XX including tax. There's also a $100 security deposit we charge on your credit card for incidentals." The guest says, "So altogether it's 1XXX? I say, "Yes, that's the total including the security deposit." Guest says, "Oh, so it's 1XXX plus the security deposit?" Again, I was taken aback. I don't feel like I said anything that would be particularly difficult to understand. I say, "No, the 1XX includes the security deposit," which is why I said that the total includes the security deposit. Guy says, "Oh, okay, and I can pay cash?" I say, "For the room we can take cash, but we need a credit card or major bank debit card for the deposit." Guy says, "Oh, never mind then." And then he left, and I found myself wondering why he didn't do that the first time I said we charged the deposit on a credit card. But I'm sure he didn't listen to that any more than he listened to anything else I said. I can't tell you the number of times I speak to people, and you can tell that one of two things is going on. If you either don't get the response that you thought you were supposed to get, or you get a question or some other weird response. They're usually either formulating their next response before they actually know exactly what you're saying. Like they took the first 2 words, or they're still hung up on the last sentence that you spoke. And then they just go ahead and answer some other question that you weren't asking, or, address some statement, whatever. It's infuriating. Or they have a processing issue where, there are some people who will say, "What?" as soon as you get the question out of your mouth. And then if you stand there and stare at them long enough, 9 times out of 10, maybe 8, they'll go ahead and answer the question themselves, which means they actually heard what you said, but they didn't process it long enough. And then it's like automatic reflex to say, "What?" And then I used to go ahead and start trying to repeat myself, but anymore, I just I'll stand back and wait for a second. kind of count to 5 in my head. And then all of a sudden, magically, they say, "Oh, you wanted this? Oh, you wanted it done that way? Oh, you said this." That's exactly what I said. Thanks for playing. After doing work experience on the front desk as a teen for a week, you guys need a raise and a lovely beach holiday. The amount of people who spoke to front desk workers like they were a piece of dirt astounded me. One person who stood out to me was a woman who must have been in her 40s. She was with her husband, who looked like Jesus. It's okay. Does Jesus need a hotel room? Housekeeping went to clean the room at some point. There was literal crap and piss all over the room, spread all over the walls, all in the bed, etc. The couple were charged a fee, I believe. Then boom, 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 the woman charged towards the desk with a face of thunder, chewing a wasp with a shade of red that would give an Oompa Loompa a run for its money. Jesus held her back and begged her to stop as she attempted to throw herself over the desk at the woman who I was working with, screaming, shouting, and banging her fists about how we've discriminated against her and her husband. Luckily, it was the end of my shift and I didn't see the aftermath. But to the lady I worked with that day, I'm so sorry. And to the housekeepers, I'm sorry for the fact that you had to clean the 50 Shades of Shit pleasure room. Oh my god. I can't even imagine what fetish or weirdness that you're into that would require you to smear feces on every surface of your room. Like, I don't know. I think as soon as I'm done recording, I'm going to need to go get something a little stronger than this Diet Pepsi. Playing guest ping pong with the front desk. Hello, first time posting here. I was reminiscing with an old coworker and figured I'd share this story since I've been lurking since I started working as a concierge. This happened a few years back, so the details are fuzzy. At the time, I worked as a concierge in a hotel that had my desk directory opposite the front desk. It was a small lobby too, as in if we thought we could get away with it, we'd have conversations at about normal talking levels, kind of small. We were all very used to guests mistaking me for the front desk and vice versa, despite the front desk having 2 to 3 people at a time, and the concierge was always just myself and I, and the very clear and in-your-face signage. Only during check-in and check-out did the front desk get so obscured that you couldn't see it, but it shouldn't take a genius to see my sign and figure out that the other was the front desk, especially with the giant line. Anyways, one particular guest couldn't seem to grasp who was who, even by the second day. My friend at the front desk said that day before, he couldn't understand why she couldn't both check him in and tell him the availability for the on-site restaurant for dinner without calling someone about it. I swear on his second day, and my first with the privilege of helping him, I saw him every other hour or so, and almost every time whatever desk he was at would send him across the way. He came to me asking for a price to upgrade his room, went to them for a tea reservation, came to me about how much he'd charged to his room so far, went to them for dinner recommendations, so on and so on. You get the idea. I think after the 5th or 6th time he got bounced to the other desk, he was back in the lobby during check-in time, stood himself directly between both our desks and practically yelled, "I'm tired of being a damn ping pong ball, so who can tell me when my tour picks me up?" It was so quiet with the 4 or so families checking in having stopped to stare. I got secondhand embarrassment when I had to wave him over. Dude put on a whole production of sighing loudly, saying "finally" just as loud, and stomping his sandal-clad feet across the carpeted floor. Oh, was it Jesus? If I recall correctly, I don't think he even had a tour booked. He just thought he had booked it and never checked with the tour company at all before arriving. After he checked out a few days later, during which he continued to announce his intentions smack in the middle of the lobby, until management told him he was disturbing the peace or something along those lines, we had the joy of seeing his stay review complaining that the hotel needed to label the desks better. Front desk and concierge in giant letters were already printed in giant all-caps bold font in the front of both of our desks. So honestly, what was he even expecting us to do? It's not like we have magical powers to gift him with reading comprehension skills. The front desk lead lamented for days about how she wished we could blacklist people for sheer incompetence. But her boss said no. After that, if we had to send someone across the way, if no one was around, whoever was sending the guest would mouth "Ping-pong" over the guest's shoulder. Nothing ever matched the level of ping-ponging from that first time, but it was still fun regardless. If only they were giant ping-pong balls. Then we could get out a giant tennis racket or a paddle of some sort. And when they need to go to the other desk, you just whack them in the side of the head and say, "Okay, your serve." Something like that, I don't know. Hey, not to belabor the point, but do me a favor, if you care about handmade soaps, beard products, traditional shave stuff, things like that, or something for your wife or husband or significant other, do me a favor and go to this website right here and peruse the site a little and see if there's anything that interests you. Anyway, till the next video, we'll see you.